Drew McIntyre is still going to be WWE champion by the end of this year. I know it's crazy for me to say because we've just come on the back of Saturday night's main event where he's lost, WrestlePalooza before that where he lost. So it's almost like, you know, with the GTA 6 delays, it's like if you keep falling for the dates, which I keep falling for the dates, and they keep pushing it back, it's like you still have hope that maybe one of these dates are going to be corrected and they're not going to push it back again. That's how I feel with Drew McIntyre. However, there's a bit more logic with this, and I'll get into the video now. To be honest, this entire video idea came about when I was on Reddit, the lovely little place Reddit, and I saw this chap who goes by the name of Leaky38 posted an interesting post. It was apparently like 18, I'll put in the camera, 18 straight title match losses of Drew McIntyre going back to the late pandemic era. Now there's a bit of dispute within the comments to say, you know, the accuracy of some of them and, you know, maybe it's 11 or 12. But the point is, there's been so many title opportunity blunders from Drew McIntyre for like multiple years straight where it's starting to... There's a fine line, there's really a fine line between having someone come so close to the championship and it being taken away. You know, we've had the likes of LA Knight, which is a whole separate video, which I think I'm going to make in the coming days because, yeah, I mean, that boy deserves a video of his own. But Drew McIntyre is a special case. We've had Kevin Owens, you know, feud with Cody Rhodes not too long ago. In the past, AJ Styles with Cody Rhodes whilst Rhodes was champion. And it always felt like, yeah, it's too early to pull the plug on Kevin Owens or AJ Styles to beat Cody Rhodes. We're in a position right now where it's the second reign of Cody Rhodes. And as soon as I saw that post on Reddit, it really made me think. I was gutted at Saturday night's main event. However, because of the way they finished the match with Cody Rhodes' sort of strange way of doing things, doing business, not very Cody Rhodes like. And then fast forward to SmackDown this past week, we've had Drew McIntyre pop up in white clothing, which it seemed so weird. He looked really cool, but I've just never seen Drew McIntyre like that. Little nugget on the side, if you guys remember seeing Nathan Fraser backstage with Axiom, I think they were having a back and forth with DIY. If you notice, Nathan Fraser's outfit was like almost ditto the same as Drew McIntyre's. It's just a little irrelevant thing that I noticed. But anyways, back to what I was saying. We're still running the angle essentially between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, which I feel like I've been saying this for so long because it has been going on for a few months now. And in my opinion, there's just no way out of this. Maybe it just sounds like I'm being delusional, but the only way this can make sense now is if eventually the championship is taken off of Cody Rhodes and is put on Drew. Because when you really think about the WWE Championship, the most prestigious one, hands down, way more than the World Heavyweight Championship. Ever since Roman Reigns had it a couple of years ago, it then moved over to Cody Rhodes, then it moved over to John Cena, and now it's back to Cody Rhodes. It's really been in the upper echelon. Definitely a championship that's had less risks taken with it. Whereas the World Heavyweight Championship, again, I think the championship itself, the way it's been positioned ever since its re-inception a couple of years ago, where Seth Rollins was the inaugural champion, I believe it was Night of Champions, if I'm not mistaken. I think the championship's been positioned well on the Raw side of things, and it's also had the ability to, not hot potato, but have a multitude of different championships, like your Damian Priest's, your Gunther's, your Jey Uso's, madness, I know, and now your CM Punk, just to name a few. Whereas with the WWE counterpart, the championship on SmackDown, it's very dead set, and it's very like there's only an elite amount of stars that are going to touch it. So typically when I mention the names I just mentioned a second ago for the Raw side of things for the World Heavyweight Championship, you can also throw in names like LA Knight, AJ Styles, potentially Kevin Owens, even Sami Zayn, and dare I say even Drew McIntyre. When I think of world champions that are going to come, or at least we wish for them to become world champion, those names I just mentioned, and this sucks, but I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I feel like those names, automatically we associate them with the World Heavyweight Championship if they were to become world champion, not the WWE Championship. And this comes down to the way the two championships are booked, like I mentioned. The WWE title has been held by your John Cena's, your Roman Reigns, and your Cody Rhodes. That's literally it ever since it got revamped with under Roman Reigns' reign. Under Roman Reigns' reign. I'd make the argument in the case, the closest out of that list I mentioned, I guess you could put CM Punk in this category as well. But the closest you get to the names of like the John Cena's, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes's, and like I said, CM Punk could be in there as well, but he's already World Heavyweight Champion on Raw. The closest you're going to get to that level is a Drew McIntyre, in my opinion. And I think he's the perfect fit where you can gamble taking a shorter reign with the WWE Championship ever since Cody Rhodes won it back at SummerSlam. So it's not been that long, it's been a few months. And then kind of transition it over to Drew McIntyre, and it still works. The championship still holds its prestige, where we know we don't always get a brand new champion every few months. You know, it's going to be a longer title reign. It's kind of held by the OP motherfuckers, you know, like we're talking about the guys that just don't lose. And I think Drew McIntyre really fits that mold perfectly. And at the same time, we are freshening up the SmackDown picture when it comes to the championship, because outside of the Cena and Cody Rhodes, and that was still, again, you know, not necessarily freshening things up. It was just like, you know, I'm going to give it to you for a bit, you're going to give it back to me. Drew McIntyre brings in a whole new equation. Perhaps with Cody Rhodes we can start telling the story, and I've milked this so many times, but we need to include the whole Randy Orton angle. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is the fact that I genuinely believe, as much as I believed Saturday night's main event was the time it was going to happen, there was a very valid point that many others mentioned. I'm not going to take credit for it because it wasn't me. But many other people online mentioned the fact that Saturday night's main event is not a ESPN constructed PLE. So with the whole new partnership and how dog shit WrestlePalooza was, there were many discussions online saying ESPN's not going to be happy with, okay, hold on a minute, you don't make any major changes on the inaugural PLE on our platform with this $1 billion deal, I believe. But you're going to do it on like a YouTube-worthy Peacock PLE like Saturday night's main event? And I chose to ignore that. Perhaps that was just the inner fan of me saying, oh, fuck it, man. Let's just surprise us. We don't see this coming. It's Saturday night's main event. You know, it's not a big PLE. Fuck it, we're still going to have a championship change. Because I felt like Drew couldn't afford to lose then. But the way they went about that is exactly what people were saying. And they brought that to life. And it was WWE's agenda to make sure that, okay, if you're going to have a major title change, it's going to be on an ESPN PLE. And what's coming up next? I mean, hopefully I'm not wrong. It is Survivor Series. I can't keep up with the company's PLEs. They're just throwing PLEs for the sake of it. Not a massive fan of that. But we're getting one of the big fours, Survivor Series, on ESPN. And the fact that this program is still running between Cody and Drew McIntyre, and Drew's already taken 2 L's, I will make the case right now. It is imperative for Mr. McIntyre to win this. Because if he doesn't win this, I know he's solidified top star. But honestly speaking, it's getting to a point where, I said this for the Saturday night's main event. I know I'm sort of just recycling what I'm saying. But luckily they still somehow, damn it, WWE, you still manage somehow to keep the stock of Drew McIntyre fairly high, reasonably high, with the outcome of the way Drew McIntyre lost and Cody Rhodes won. You still kind of protected Drew McIntyre in a sense. So once Drew McIntyre is back from suspension, we're going to have the blow-off match. We're going to have the finale match between Cody and Drew. And Lord help us if we go into Survivor Series, which I assume is going to be the place, the venue for this match, and we once again get Cody Rhodes win, and I don't care what fashion. I don't care if he cheats at this point. It's gonna really hinder Drew McIntyre. I'm not saying it's gonna hinder him to the point where he's back in 3MB. Sorry, when I said hinder, I just thought of Jinder Mahal, I know. But this has to be the case, and all directions are pointing towards finally Drew McIntyre picking up the championship. I am convinced it's finally that, because if they had dropped this program, and after Saturday night's main event, you know, even if, let's say, it was more of a clean finish, so Cody Rhodes is definitively done with Drew McIntyre, and on SmackDown there was no interaction between the two. Drew McIntyre is going about trolling someone online or starting a new feud or whatever, or even if he was off SmackDown, I can make the case in the argument, we're not doing this again, but we're doing it for the 3rd time. It's going to be a hat trick. And in my opinion, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, a genius. The only way this is going to work in any way of measuring the feasibility behind a decision in professional wrestling points to we're having a new champion. I don't think it's going to be a very long reign. It's not going to be as short as this 5-minute reign at WrestleMania 40 about 18 months ago for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, it's going to be for a few months. It's going to lead us into the Royal Rumble season. That's when we're going to start separate video. But anyways, my point is Drew McIntyre is going to be champion, and I think it's going to happen at Survivor Series. God, Zeus, listen to me. Let it happen. But anyways, that's everything from my end. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.